Welcome to the Teapot Reads. I'm the Teapot. This is what I'm currently reading, and I'm so happy to see you today. Hello, 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 hello. I saw, I think it was at TikTok, actually, someone was posting series that they were currently in the middle of, and I thought that would be a really interesting video to film, because there are quite a few series that I am in the middle of. There are a lot of series that I'm in the middle of that just haven't finished publishing, haven't finished coming out. I'm not including those. So you won't see series like the Shadowhunter books on here. You won't see the any Sarah J. Maas series on here. Dresden Files. You know, there are a lot of series that I love so very much that are still coming out, and I'm caught up to the point of their publication, so they're not coming, or they're not going to be in this video. This video is for series that are either completely published that I haven't finished reading, or for series that might still be coming out but have more have books that have been published that I haven't read in them yet. By like eliminating book series that aren't completely published, I actually find that I have a lot fewer series I'm in the middle of than I initially thought. So I'm actually really pleased about that. I thought I had a lot worse of a track record with starting things, but I actually seem to be pretty okay. I did kind of pile it off into 3 separate piles. I have the series that I actually plan and hope to catch up on this year, so before the year is out. I have ones that I would like to do next year or as soon as possible, but just probably won't do right away. And then I have ones that I honestly just don't know when I'm going to finish, or if I'm even going to finish the series. So we're going to start with the first pile, which is book series that I would really like to catch up on this year. Number 1 being the Montague Sibling series by Mackenzie Lee. So I have read Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue like 3 or 4 times. I even have it tabbed with all my favorite scenes, so I can just go right back and read it. And I have read The Gentleman's Guide to Getting Lucky like once or twice, because once it came out I was like, well, you have to read this right after finishing the first book. I've never read The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy. I bought it like right when it came out and just never picked it up. I keep giving myself the excuse if I should reread book 1 because I love book 1, but then by the time I'm done with book 1 I'm like ready to move on to a different shiny object. So I do just need to finally read this one. I'm really excited. The 3rd book in the series, The Nobleman's Guide to something. So I don't remember. I'll put the title down here. But The Nobleman's Guide is book 3, and it is their youngest sibling, who in the very first book is just a baby. And I'm really excited. I'm really excited for that book not only to come out, but to finally read book 2, which I'm hoping that the spine conventions continue, because there's like there's a ship on both of them, but there's like clouds, and then on this one there's like a moon. I just think that's a really cute touch. Then we have the Witchland Series by Susan Dennard. So I do have quite a few copies of these books. I have the first 2 plus Sight Witch in these hardbacks, and then I got the new covers as well. I've read the first 2. I read Truth Witch and Wind Witch right when they came out. They are some of my favorite YA fantasy books, and I don't really know why I've put them off, like why I was like, yeah, we'll just hold off. But Witch Shadow is out. Witch Shadow is out, and I have it, and I have to read Sight Witch, Blood Witch, and Witch Shadow, and I really, really, really would like to get to it this year. I might reread the first 2 books because it has been a while. I don't even remember when Wind Witch came out. Let's see, probably like 2016, 2017. I also would like to point out this is a signed copy of Truth Witch, but I would really like to catch up. I will probably reread the books, but I don't think it's going to be hard at all to reread them because I just love them so much. I feel like this series does not get a lot of hype, which is such a shame because it's really good. It's really complicated. I think if you like the Fallen Kingdom series by Morgan Rhodes, you really like this series. It's got a lot going on. It's got, I don't want to call it like YA Game of Thrones because it's not quite that. There's a lot more magic. I would say it leans closer to like Throne of Glass than Game of Thrones, but still has a lot more complexities and a lot more characters that you're following than typical YA fantasy really gives you. And it's great. It's so good. It is so good. I was paying very close attention to Susan Dennard's like posts and newsletter posts in the lead up to Witch Shadow, so it got me even more excited to return to these books. And this series I am absolutely going to get back to this year. I have only put it off because I know it's like waiting for me, and I know I'm gonna love it, and that is the Live Ship Trader series by Robin Hobb. This is the second series in the realm of the Elderlings. The first trilogy is one of my favorites, and I really enjoyed Ship of Magic. This is book 1. I don't have book 3 at the moment, but I haven't picked up Mad Ship yet. And I think it really is because I know it's just waiting for me, and I know I'm going to love it, so it's not like a risk. It is a bulky book. That is another reason that I just haven't buckled down and finally picked it up, but I know that when I pick it up I'll probably need book 3 immediately, so I should probably just get around to getting that and then just read them back to back. This will definitely happen this year. I'm leaning towards late autumn just because they are very, even though they take place in like not a wintry climate, I just feel like heavy fantasy is a wintry read. Alright, the pile of books that I probably won't, or series that I probably won't get to this year, but would really like to next year, or I might have to start considering unhauling them. Also, if I don't get to them next year, I'm probably going to start forgetting a lot of the details. A lot of these series, or a couple of these series, are quite long. I probably won't read them all this next year. First of all, we have the Expanse series by James S.A. Corey. I have read the first 3 books in this series and I adore them. Book 1 has to be my favorite. This is one of the best science fiction books I have ever read. It is super cinematic. I've tried watching the show. I just get so much canon shock because I hold these books so dear to me. The 10th anniversary, is it the 10th? Yeah, the 10th anniversary edition is coming out later this year, which is insane to think about, that they've been out for like 10 years. The final book is also coming out this year, but because there are so many books left for me to catch up on, I probably won't do it all next year. I would like to at least get 2 more done next year. I would like to make progress on the series again. I might pick up book 4 this year. Not sure. If I do, again, it'll probably be like late autumn, early winter type reading, just because they're bulky sci-fi and that kind of stuff, like I said, just feels cozy at that time of year. But I adore this book. I picked up this copy abroad, and I actually started reading it on the plane ride home. Another sci-fi series that I need to finish is the Red Rising series. I adore this series. I've met Pierce Brown. I made my parents go to a signing for him so that I could get a different book signed, and then I actually had the opportunity to meet him myself, and anyway, he's really cool. I have read the original trilogy like twice, and I read Iron Gold last year, and I really enjoyed it. I don't even own Dark Age. I will definitely be reading it soon. I just think, without any possible date for the 3rd book in the new trilogy, I don't know, I'm a little wary to pick up Dark Age. Like, I trust it to be written, but I've been burned by quite a few series lately that just, when will they be finished? Who knows? But regardless of whether this is going to be a finished series anytime soon or not, I really should pick up Dark Age because I do enjoy these books so very much. I stand Severo, if you were curious. So I just need to like get back on this horse and return to these. So this series isn't completely done, but there's another book coming out next year, and there's going to be 4. That is the Skyward series. Is that what the series is called? By Brandon Sanderson. I really enjoyed Skyward. I read it last year, I think. Really good, much better than I thought it would be. I just never actually picked up Starsight, and now book 3 has a cover, a title, Satanic, I think, and it is coming out next year. I would like to at least pick up Starsight before Satanic comes out, or right around the same time. I doubt I'll pick up Satanic right away. I really like Brandon Sanderson books, but once I put one down, I don't feel the urge to immediately go to the next one. Not since Mistborn have I felt that urge. But yes, I am really enjoying this. Really great YA sci-fi. Then we have the Inheritance Trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. This is a bind-up of all 3 books. I've read the first 2 years ago, and I absolutely adored them. They're some of my favorite adult fantasy, and I would even say they lean closer to new adult. And if you're looking for smut, there's quite some good smut in here, if I remember correctly. Book 3 is called The Kingdom of the Gods. Oh, I even have my bookmark in here still. Kingdom of the Gods. And there is a novella in here at the very end, I think. Yes, The Awakened Kingdom. So I should read that too. But I need to just pick it up. I want to do it next year because I've kind of had this mental block where I don't want to pick up any more N.K. Jemisin books until I finish this honker. So I really do want to finish it, and then I want to pick up probably The City We Became. I'm really eager to read. I just have to get around to it. It's great fantasy. If you've never read an N.K. Jemisin, you're a fantasy fan, you're totally missing out. She has some of the best world building and also just an incredibly distinct voice. I really recommend her. All right, the Air Awakens series by Elise? I think it's Elise Kova. I read Air Awakens, oh my god, like in late high school. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot more addicting than I thought, and immediately went out and bought Fire Falling and then never read it. I couldn't explain why I didn't pick it up like immediately, because I really did enjoy Air Awakens. Now the third book in this like shared or the third series in the shared universe has started, and I actually have that one. I really want to go back and reread this one because I don't remember a lot of the details, and then read this one and continue on with the series. This is a goal for next year because I do want to read more self-published authors in the coming year, so I think these would be a good place to start since I already have them on my shelf and I already know I have a pretty good track record with her. I feel like I talk about this series a lot, at least in my personal life, and that is The Magicians by Lev Grossman. I love The Magicians. I read the first book once and I hated it, and then another time and I loved it, and then I read it a third time because I loved it so much. I never read book 2 or 3. I just have never gotten around to it. I need to get around to it. I think I had this mental block since I disliked book 1 so much the original time I read it that I just never picked these up. But recently I thought I heard that they were going out of print in hardcover, so I scooped them up, and when I say recently, it was probably about a year ago. I scooped them up and I want to read them very badly. I also really enjoyed the TV show. I think book 3 or book 2 is The Magician's Land and book 3 is The Magician King. No, wait, maybe The Magician King is book 2. Yeah, this is book 3. The Magician's Land is book 3. These are also just lovely, lovely books. I really liked Lev Grossman's middle grade book that came out as well. The Silver Arrow. It's a great book. It has a train on the cover. It doesn't look like what it's about, but it's like super save the planet. Animals are important. Don't endanger our planet. Environmentalist. It's great. I really like that book. A series I read this year was Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. This is book 1, The Dragonbone Chair. I read the original trilogy and I enjoyed it. You can see my reviews. I'll tag them down below and up in the cards. I really enjoyed a lot of parts of it. I did have some issues with it, but I did immediately go out and purchase books 1 and 2 of The Last King of Austin Ard, which is the sequel series, and I think book 3 is coming out next year. I would like to at least read The Witchwood Crown next year if I don't read Empire of Grass, because I would like to return to the world. I've heard that it's stronger in a lot of ways, and there are characters that I've heard are in this book that I am really interested in reading about. I'm not going to spoil who because it is kind of a spoiler for the original trilogy, but this is The Witchwood Crown and it's a chunker. It's a chunker. I don't know, I buddy read the original trilogy with a friend and she's not super interested in or feeling urgently like she has to get to the next series, and I'm like, I don't feel urgent about it, but I would like to pick it up, and I'll let her know if it's good, and if I think she should read it, maybe I'll wait to read Empire of Grass and buddy read it with her if she'd be down for that, but that's like thinking far in the future. And the final series that I would really like to catch up on next year is the Bone Season series by Samantha Shannon. I read the Bone Season and the Mime Order as they were coming out. I really, really enjoyed them both for very different reasons. The Mime Order was one of my favorite books of the year that I read it. But when The Song Rising came out, I actually never picked it up. I think I bought it because I needed the matching cover, but I just never read it. It just didn't happen. I didn't get around to it. I think a lot of time had passed and I couldn't remember a lot of details from books 1 and 2, so I was like, I have to go back and reread it, and that definitely is the case, and I really want to reread them anyways because it's been a while. But Mask Falling book 4 recently came out this year, and I do have 2 editions. I have this edition, and then this is the indie edition, which I think is very cool. I prefer the original cover, but it's nice to have them both like on my shelf. They just look very pretty. So I need to get to these. And it will probably be springtime, I'm feeling, of next year, is just the vibe I'm giving myself in this moment. Finally, we have my last pile. This is, I think, my smallest pile. These are the book series that I don't know when I'm going to get around to catching up and finishing them, or even if I will. And number 1, we have Dune by Frank Herbert. This book has been going around. It's so funny. I keep seeing it on TikTok, but it's literally people just posting about how they can't get through it. I did get through it. I read it 3 years ago. I thought it was fine. There were moments where I was like really invested in it, but there were a lot of important scenes that we weren't really shown. We were just told about like happened off screen, especially towards the end of it, which I just had a major problem with. I was like, well, I would have liked to have seen this character like die, you know, like they seem very important. Why did we like get an off-screen kill, or why did this important moment happen off screen? Why couldn't we have seen it on page? Where was the dialogue? So I'm just not eager. To get to the rest of the series. We'll see. Then we have, and I'm probably going to pronounce the series wrong, the Licanius Trilogy by James Islington. I read this one a couple years ago and was surprisingly addicted to it. I read it very quick, and it's a long book, but I just thought it was really, really cool. And I've heard that the rest of the series gets even better, and it kind of messes with like time travel and just the order of things happening. So I do have book 2, but I've just never picked it up, and I don't even own book 3. I don't remember any of the details, any of the characters, so I would need to reread book 1 before I picked them up, but I would like to, especially next year. With these shimmering gorgeous edges, we have Bonecryer's Moon and Bonecryer's Dawn by Catherine Purdy. This is a Fairy Loot book, and I bought the sequel just to have a matching edition. I did not love this one. I don't remember if I talked about it on my channel or not, but I did not love it. And I only got this to match. Part of me regrets it majorly. I think I will give it a try. I just have no idea when. This was a little bit of a slog to get through. The covers, though, are beautiful. I can give it that. And then we have 2 series that I will never finish, and it's for a very similar reason, and that is that there was an original trilogy or quartet that I thought was perfect and had a good ending, and then the author continued the series, and I have just no interest in continuing past it. And those series are The Iron Fae by Julie Kagawa and The Selection Series by Kira Cass. I loved The Iron Fae. I read the original 4 books right around the time book 4 came out. I was obsessed with them. I think they're fantastic. I tried reading the second series and I just couldn't get into it, and I have no interest moving past that. My opinion of this series is perfect. Moving past it, I'm worried will just ruin everything I loved about this series. And The Selection, I really, really enjoyed the original trilogy. I don't need the spin-off trilogy. I think if I went back and reread it, I wouldn't even enjoy it as much, and I'm not interested in tarnishing my view of these books. I read them when I was much younger, I had a lot of fun, and that's it. I don't need to complicate it with anything. Like, it was fun, it was candy, it was great, done, no more. So those are the series I am in the middle of. I hope you find this interesting, I hope you find this entertaining. I would love to know what series you're in the middle of that you keep meaning to pick up, or if there are any series that I am in the middle of that you think it's a crime I haven't finished yet. Let me know down below, and if you want to see more content like this, do not forget to subscribe. I will see you guys next time. I hope that if you're somewhere cold, you are staying warm, and if you're somewhere warm, you are staying comfortable, and most of all, I hope you're reading a great book. Bye.